Okay, so I have a story, Pastor Greg, I want you to share. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let me set up the context here for listeners. You and I have actually a couple mutual friends, but one in particular, I used to work at Express, and the very first person I hired at Express to work for me is one of your best friends, Joe Kirk. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
Love it.
a couple years ago, he showed me some pictures that hands down is one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my entire life. Okay. Steph didn't think they were as funny as me. Okay. But I think they're hysterically funny. So the pictures he showed me, Pastor Greg, were of you, Joe, and another buddy of yours who went to JCPenney Studios and did a full photo shoot acting as if you were awkward family photos or stepbrothers. And you did pictures with all of the props at JCPenney Studios and somehow did this with a straight face. Then
Oh.
you posted those pictures onto social media, and I, again, could not stop laughing. There's probably 10 pictures, Steph, that he posted on his Instagram page. And for probably 30 minutes, I am laughing hysterically at all the props and stuff that they're doing at JCPenney
Oh.
Studios. So, Pastor Greg, can you please tell that story, how that came
Yeah.
about? And I think you even brought on like wardrobe changes as well for that photo shoot.
Yeah. So, all right. So everybody has that one friend that is just insane, right? Just not quite right. Okay. So Joe and I have a friend named John who actually I met at the front desk.
Really?
Ironically enough, right? Like one of the blessings and benefits of not just ignoring people at the front desk and building relationships is some of my best friends have come from that. So Joe's as close a friend as I have in the world. And then John is this guy that he actually helped us jump in, met him right at the front desk, helped us start the church. But John is just off the charts charisma, like super funny. He just thinks like nobody I've ever seen. He's just crazy. So anyway, he moved to Austin, Texas. So he comes back every so often. He was actually here this last weekend, but he comes back to town every so often. Whenever he does, it's a big deal. So
Okay.
he rolls into town and he's like, "Hey, I've got an idea." I'm like, "I'm ready, dude." I'm
Not a
like,
good
What
idea.
is it? What is it? You know? And he went to like, yes, JCPenney photo studio, and he's like, he purchased the deluxe family photo package. He purchased it in faith that we were all going to participate in this idea. So he's like, I bought the deluxe supreme package. I've gone to the thrift store and purchased clothing. You know, we've got an hour to just shoot, pictures. Are you in? I'm like, you better believe I'm in, dude. I'm like 100%. So Joe and I and John roll in this thing. And I got to tell you, these guys were not ready. I mean, they like the photographers and the people that work there,
Yep.
They're serious. Like, right. They're expecting a family to show up and, and these three grown men, showing up like with all these, we used every prop they had in the whole thing. And it was so much fun, honestly. Like, actually, I need to go back and look at the pictures because it's a miracle we had straight faces.
I don't know how you did it.
Pictures, like, oh, dude, we laughed. If you need a good laugh,
seriously,
get a couple of friends, buy the deluxe package, go to Sears, go to JCPenney, go to Olin Mills,
yes,
and do it up right, dude. Do the glamour shots, blow it up, dude. It was great. It was so much fun.
Because Pastor Greg, the one picture that stood out to me the most, that I could not stop laughing, you and my buddy Joe took those child Riddle football helmets, okay,
Yeah.
and you shoved an Ohio State helmet on your head.
Wedged. I mean, it
yes.
was like,
I'm like, how did he get his head inside of that kid's football helmet? And then Joe had the Bengals helmet on. You grabbed some football there that they use for kids' portraits, right? And you were acting like the center, and I think Joe is acting like the quarterback in this awkward family photo. And
yes.
Did you guys end up getting kicked out of the place?
Oh,
or
no,
did you
man, we got
hour?
our hours worth. We got our full hours worth. Yeah, we're like, you know what, we paid for this hour, we're going to do it. So it was, and we were just coming up with poses on the fly, and it was way more fun than it should have been. You know,
Oh my
it
gosh.
was a blast. It was a blast.
I want to ask.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the photographer, by the end, were they into it too, or they're just like, oh my gosh, just get this over with so we can move
I
on?
think-
They've seen a lot of stuff,
Yes.
I'm sure, over their career as JCPenney.
I think the photographer was ready to get on to their next client by the time we were done. Yeah.
So Pastor Greg, 2 years ago, I think this happened 2 years ago, because that week that I saw those photos, I had a OSU road trip with some buddies of mine. Okay, so we do an annual road trip. We went to Penn State for the game, and we stayed
Nice.
in, I don't know, I can't remember. Altoona. Altoona is where we
There you go.
stayed. Okay, we went out to dinner that night. On the trip, I had showed them these pictures while we were driving to Altoona, and again, my three buddies are dying laughing. Okay, on the way to dinner, we see a JCPenney's, and I'm like, fellas. Yes, I'm like, do you want to make this trip epic right now? And my one buddy, who is like you just said, he's down for anything. He's like, let's do it. And then the other two, including the guy who was driving, was like, nope, not happening. We are absolutely not doing this. I cannot do this. So
And you can't just go with one other friend. It has to be
Exactly.
At least one other. Yeah, it's got to be. You got,
yes.
Yeah.
So we
That's
couldn't
great.
do it with just the two of us.
Oh, that'd been
but
awesome.
it was Steph, it was Todd and I.
Of course, it was Todd.
Yep. And the other two
Yeah.
were like, nope, can't do it.
Yep.
Can't
Yeah,
do
well,
That's
here's what I'm
awesome.
going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. If your friend's in town, you can't ever find a third, holler at me. I'll jump in. Hey, I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. If you need a third to complete, just I'm
my!
here.
You three
got me.
together would be dangerous.
Get at me.
That is funny. So he doesn't regret
I'm
the
there.
decision, apparently.
Apparently not.
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, we're due. We're due for some fresh picks.